My name is Brent Harris, and I am a personal coach. So what I do is I work with people one-on-one, usually in a Skype format on a weekly basis. And what I do is I guide them into their next level version of themselves. So people come to me and they're in a place where they're usually frustrated or stuck or blocked, and they've just been hitting a wall. And not only that, but kind of running into the same problem again and again and again, and not really knowing what to do about it. Having sort of an image in mind of like how their life could be physically, in relationships, money, spiritually, in terms of where they live, in terms of what they'd be doing with their time, and so on and so forth. So like this image of what they could be doing. And they're just like have an image of how they could be living, and they're not there. They can't. There's like this veil or this sort of wall that they can't quite break through to ascend into this next version. They just tend to kind of spin on the same track. And so what I do is I show people how to ascend into that next level version. And so it's not that I necessarily know all the answers to all the questions, but what I can do is I have an outsider perspective, and typically I can just see people, their mental loops and their beliefs, limiting thinking, painful thinking, and really in a lot of cases it's just a matter of just switching that around, and then suddenly the door's open. So that's kind of a synopsis of what I do. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to offer the three basic pillars, the basic tenets of my working with people. And so I'm just going to outline them for you. And if you really listen to these, really take them seriously, really open up your mind, really just stay loose in your thinking as possible as I deliver this to you, then you can take these and apply it to any area of your life where you're just like the most frustrated. So it's like a combination of being stuck, but also with like a really high amount of desire and urgency to get over this particular stuckness. You can apply to this and you will feel it loosen. It will loosen, and you'll start to see past the veil, and you'll be able to move beyond it. So that is what this video is about. Starting with number one, which is desires do not go away. So if you're like me, then you've been on a spiritual path, and so you dabbled in self-help. How do I get what I want? How do I grow? How do I get all the things that I want? And then you probably at some point have also dabbled in meditation and mindfulness. And typically one of the staple messages that we get from this type of research and literature is you just accept the moment as it is, and you love the moment as it is, and you allow everything to be, and you make peace with everything as it is. And then especially if you go into Buddhism, not that Buddhism is about this, but this is typically what people get from it, especially in the West, is they get this idea that you're not supposed to desire anything. You're not supposed to want anything. And that to desire something means that you are lost in the dream state, so to speak. That's what they call it. That if you desire something, it's at odds with the moment, and so therefore you're not totally at peace. You're not in enlightenment. And so what I found in my own experimentation is that desire does not go away. And so what that means is that it seems, for whatever reason, humans tend to come out of the factory and they go through their growing up, they go through childhood and adolescence, and especially as they enter into adulthood, when they look inside, they find that they have a creation or a number of creations inside of them. They have potential. They have something that it usually appears to them at night, or appears when they wake up in the morning. It usually ends up being the kind of what you intend to do once all of the items on your task list are done. It tends to be like the lowest priority thing that you're going to get around to. And what it is, it's this desire to create something that will be an expression of creativity. And not only that, but there's also this quality about it where it's what you imagine your contribution to humanity is going to be. So some people have dreams of opening up a youth center or some kind of a place where people can come and play and be or learn. Some people have dreams of writing books or creating media, creating music, creating art, and being able to distribute it, and hoping that people will have their lives improved by the presence of it, at least be entertained, at least get enjoyment from the art. It's interesting because a lot of us have ego desires as well, in the sense that we want to be rich and famous, and we want people to think highly of us and to like us. But those desires only kind of reside in the mind, which is different from these desires that just tend to somehow reside in our body. And I know it's strange to say, but they're really there. Like if you really check in with your body, you just feel there's this desire to create something or produce something or move in a certain way that will just really benefit yourself. It'll benefit humanity. And you just know that doing it, like in the process of creating this and making it, it will, like, you'll enjoy the whole thing. You won't be in too much of a hurry to get to the end of the production because you'll just enjoy the process of making it as well. So there's that. It's just this idea of like who we want to be, what we want to do, how we want to live our lives. And this desire, it doesn't go away. It comes with us. And I found, despite my best efforts, and I've been like, meditating and trying to rid myself of all my earthly desires, it still doesn't go away. And so what's interesting is people, they come at it and they'll make their first few attempts and then they'll fail, or, they won't finish it, or they'll receive criticism. And because it's so personal and so important to get these things done, it's so personal and so intimate that you'll get criticized, and it'll hurt so much, and it'll be like, oh my God, I can't go through that again. And then maybe you try and go through again, there's more criticism, and it hurts again. And so then at this point, people tend to go one of two ways. They go one way, which is that they just stick with it. And not in a sense of perseverance or trying to overcome procrastination, but just because desire doesn't go away. It just stays. It just sits right there asking to be made, and nothing can be done about it. So the person just shows up again and again for more criticism, for more abuse, for more failure, for more letdown. And then eventually, all the dross is kind of, swept out of the way. All the dirt, all the, everything that's stopping you is pushed out of the way. And then finally it's made, and then everybody gets to see it for what it is, and it's beautiful. So that's one way. And the other way is when people just, give up, and they just kind of settle, and they just kind of come down here. And the thing is that it really seems, my personal theory is that we say with our words that we've given up, but it's never possible to really give up on your heart's desire, because desire never goes away. So all you're able to do is sit on it and try to forget about it. And every once in a while, you'll see a movie or hear a song or overhear a conversation that'll remind you that you have something to make, but you've made up your mind that you can't. And so you have to take to addictions, and you have to get drunk, and you have to eat food, and you have to find a way to make the pain go away, because you really believe that you can't do it, that it's not possible. Man, there is nothing more painful than being spiritually painful, than being in a place where you really believe that you cannot create your heart's desire. So I just want to impress that upon you as point number one. Desire does not go away. It just doesn't seem to. It can change and evolve and so forth, but not really. Okay, cool. So the second one is that your outer life reflects your inner life. And so, forgive me if this is already obvious. I'm going to tell this to you as if this is not already obvious. First, I'm going to sip some water because I'm getting parched. It's an amateur mistake to have a problem emerge in your life, whatever that problem is, whatever difficulty or challenge it is, and to just as a reflex to go into the physical world and attempt to solve it so that the problem can be gone and so that you can feel okay about yourself. The big trap that a lot of us fall into is that we believe that only when all the problems are solved and once we have everything we want, then will we finally be okay. And so we have a list of conditions that once all the conditions are met, then we'll be well. I call this conditional wellness. Once this is gone, once I have this, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be satisfied. Then I will be free. Then I will be peaceful. Then I'll feel okay about myself. So on and so forth. And so what we end up doing is chasing, going into the world, trying to arrange everything so that we'll be happy. But we've all had moments where we finally had our desires met and we feel, oh, finally. And how long does that last? Tell me. Not very long, does it? It does not last very long. And it makes sense because there's just a mechanism in all of us that is addicted to problems. Because on one hand, we're constantly trying to get the problems solved, but at the same time, we know that when the problems are solved, there will be no more problems. And the part of us that's addicted to problems knows that its demise will come when all the problems are gone. So it has to spin out new ones. The real issue is our addiction to problems. It's really difficult to discover this, but man, if you can discover this in yourself, your own addiction to struggle, your own addiction to problems, it's a game changer. Because what that means is that instead of eternally chasing the sun down the horizon, which the sun's over here, it's obviously you can't get to it, so you're just moving and moving and moving, and you just never quite get there. Instead of living like that, you realize that real satisfaction, that real wellness that you're really after, it can only appear in the now. It's the feeling of wellness, the experience of wellness, of wholeness, of completeness is very evidently, very clearly just a state that is only available now or not now. Those are the two options. It's either wellness now or wellness not now. You are either allowing wellness or you are disallowing wellness because you're placing conditions on it. You're placing time-bound conditions on it. Once the future comes, then I'll be well. You see? It makes sense, right? It's pretty simple stuff. And so therefore, when a challenge comes into your life, you... Instead of just instinctively trying to fix it and trying to go into it, instead of doing that, like the challenge comes in. And we're not saying we don't fix it, but what we're saying is there's a little pause before fixing it, where the challenge is here and we're like, okay, what does that say about me? What am I being taught right now? What about myself is being revealed to me? In what way am I about to enter once again into this belief that I need to solve the problem before I can be well? And to what extent is it true? So the essence of this, of pillar number 2, is that you just stop reacting immediately when shit comes into your life, when an obstacle comes into your life. Really cultivate the practice of looking at your life as it is, with all the problems that are here, with all the things that you're dissatisfied about, and really question in every single point, question where you've made up your mind that you won't be okay, or where there's some sort of essential okayness that's not available to you until the conditions are met. Can you break out of that sort of hypnosis? Are you willing to discover, are you really willing to discover how incredibly well you are and how wellness is just the substance of what you are. And again, not to say that you will not be, that you won't be rearranging your life and doing things, because you will. There's this idea that, well, if I discover that everything's okay, if I discover that all is well, then I'll never do anything. That's not how it works, because just to be alive as a living organism, let alone a human, is to be in a state of motion. You're moving. Creativity is, we don't create in order to run from our problems. We create because we're just creative beings. We just make. Again, we come out of the factory with things to make. And as long as we're not creating in order to feel good about ourselves, then we can finally create without having weird expectations or need or our own kind of shit that taints the making, the creation of this thing that is our desire to make. Cool. So number 3 is take action. Because life is not unlike a dream, in my own opinion. You know, if you're in a dream, and if you're fortunate enough to wake up, or to not necessarily wake up, but to become aware that you're dreaming while you're in the dream, so it becomes a lucid dream, are you worried? Are you stressed out? Is there anything that you are unable to, are you worried about dwindling resources, or are you trying to wait for the right opportunity? Or are you just moving? Are you just saying yes? Are you just you'll be going down a path and it's left or right? Well, there's no real time to choose. There's no real time to sit at the crossroads and deliberate between left and right. You just choose one. You just go. There's no time to just sit on a fence. In fact, as I work with people, this is new, and I really hope you hear this. As I'm working with people, so much of my job is just getting people off the fence. It's people just kind of hover above their own lives. Am I going to go this way or am I going to go that way? I should do this, but it might be better to do that. So ideally do what your heart wants to do. Go where your intuition's pulling you. But either way, just do something. Get off the fence, because being on the fence of indecision is really where all the energy is burnt up, and that's where you stay stagnant. And that's where all the suffering is. It's so much better to have made a poor decision than to remain in indecision. Truly, truly, truly. Because when you make a poor decision, then at least everything's moving again, and you just realize again and again and again that it's never possible to make a decision that's so poor, that's so unintelligent, that's so stupid, that you've just ended up in this sort of cul-de-sac where nothing can be done and it's game over. As long as you're anywhere, just look at where you are right now. Yes, is everything as you want it to be? Of course it's not. No, but nobody is 100% satisfied with everything that it is now. There's always the next level to get to. That's just how it works being a human. And so you have a direction you want to go in. So you realize that it's not perfect now, but you have every opportunity. You have opportunities right now. You have options right now. There's a way that you can go. There's an action you can take. And so therefore, whatever feels like the smartest thing to do, whatever you feel, whatever is just inspired, or whatever's there for you to do, whatever feels like it would just kind of open up a kind of a new pocket or a new area of activity in your life, do it. And don't wait. And do it now. Or at the very least, set a very specific time, down to the minute, where you are going to start doing it, and make damn sure that you do it. And if it feels heavy and you're forcing yourself and, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to slog my way through it, and I hate this so much. It's not about that. It's supposed to be the things that kind of bring you the most growth and the most joy are when you are doing something that you're just really, you can be nervous, but you're really excited. You're excited to do it. You're just like, oh, this would be kind of cool. Let's see where this leads. That is delicious. That's the way forward. That's how you start growing. That's how you pierce the veil and start ascending into your next level self. Okay, so point one was desires don't go away. So don't try to make them go away, and don't give up, because it's not possible to give up. All you're able to do is just be depressed. Your outer life reflects your inner life, reflects your outer life, which reflects your inner life. So just really commit to discovering wellness within. And then 3, take action. Just go. Just do it. Just deliberate less. Just go for broke. One of my favorite, I don't necessarily recommend this, but I like to just take everything I have and put it on red. And I spin the wheel and I see what I get. And because what that means is that I get to double my shit, or I get to lose all my shit. Either way, we're doing something. Either way, the juice is moving. And either way, we end up the same death. We all die the same death. May as well just fuck some shit up. You know, we may as well just go for it. Might as well challenge ourselves. May as well be brave, be courageous. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to kind of like walk around the pool before you decided to jump in. But, you know, jump. All right, cool. So that's it. If you apply these principles, you will find yourself getting unstuck. Your blocks will start to loosen and fall away. I mean, can't you feel it? Is it totally self-evident? It feels that way for me. Okay, so question for you. This is the time to be honest. Are you ready? Are you ready to change? Because an option you have is to stay in victimhood, to stay in, this always happens to me, I can't do it, it's not possible, what's the point? You know, there's this faux intelligence, like, oh, you know, it's stupid to think it's possible, it's wiser to believe it's not possible. That's an option you have. You can go that way. Or are you ready to give this a shot? Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to pick it back up? Are you ready to give it a new effort? Are you ready to answer the call and realize that your desire needs your commitment to stick with it tenaciously until you can see it through? Because if you are, I would like you to consider working with me one-on-one as your coach. So the offer is a free session. Just hit me up. Honestly, I have my email below here. Send me an email with just like a couple blurbs about yourself and your general availability. At the time of recording, Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays are my coaching days. I'll just give you a free session. It's no obligations, no hassles, no sales pitch. Like yes, you know, we'll go through the session and we're just going to break through as much of this as we can, and we're going to get you clear and ready and poised and good. And yeah, you can work with me. We can talk about that if that's in the cards, and we'll see each other weekly, as I was mentioning earlier, and it'll be great. And then we'll really just get you there. We'll really just get this shit going. Or if it's not in the cards, that's fine too. And I hope you just got a ton of benefit from our time together. Either way, there's no risk. There's nothing to lose. Everybody who comes out of these sessions, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but people who come out of these sessions, they always feel way, way better, much more clear and much more empowered. It is just a great thing to do for yourself. So hit me up if you'd like to chat. If you really want to get this going, we'll just go from there. Thank you so much. Catch you later.